We are.
Hey, sitting down. I love it. What's going on?
What's going on?
Zito?
So I feel like we've had every possible
Everything.
technical difficulty
Everything.
up until today.
Yep.
You guys like the suit I'm wearing for you? I can't stand up because I'm wearing shorts. But for the occasion, we have some special drinks.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You have a rum with an egg white blend, and I forgot the syrup and the lemon. So hopefully
Let me see.
it's still good.
I think the lemon takes a little sharp taste off, but it's good. It's good.
I could run and get some lemon.
If you're on, everyone's gonna see your shorts.
Yep. Everyone's. Hope the mic is catching me up.
Yeah, he thinks he's not, but we're right here. Yeah. And if I am muted, I'll be able to hear a double echo. See? You're good.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
How do you deal with
I don't know.
all of my
perfectionist? I don't know how to deal with
It's not a perfectionist. Well, it's been a while since we've been together for Life to the Full podcast.
Yeah, okay, maybe the drink is a little bit strong. Yeah, if you want to show everybody your undie, just kidding. He's wearing shorts.
I'm gonna go get you some lemon. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he's gonna give me some lemon. Oh my gosh, thank you. I love it. Okay. Thank goodness he's wearing shorts. Yay, it's a family show, everybody. Okay, so it's been a while, and I know in the description we said we were gonna talk about it's 4 years. It's been 4 years since Life to the Full, and we're going to be brainstorming for the podcast. Jimmy has a year planned out, but we want to brainstorm on how to spice it up, what you guys want to hear, and then as well, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly to have been off podcasting for 4 years together. We'll share reasons why. Well, we said it was going to be a year journey. Jimmy wanted to continue, but I gave him a hard no. And so we're going to talk about that process and how we got to where we are now, which is starting 2025 with the podcast, and how we're going to keep it going for everybody. So if you are watching the live with us, please write in a comment. Where are you joining us from? And also, what's let me see. Okay,
so say, what's the weather, man?
I was about to say, what's the weather in your neck of the woods? So I love it. Okay, so we got that going on. All right. You heard what I told the good people. Ooh, look, it looks so much better. That's lemon for you, everybody.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I got mine just straight because, I'm a dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so much better when you put squeezed fresh lemon. So where to start, Zito? I told them the broad agenda. It's not a plan agenda. This is what you call a brainstorming session.
So I feel like the podcast has been something that you've been begging me to restart again for a while now.
Begging you?
No. More like talking to me, like maybe we should restart it.
Well, it's more like let's get aligned because we weren't aligned and about some of the stuff you were sharing.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let's not talk about those things. Let's talk about how we can start creating more of a community. I'm all for community. I will do anything, right? Whether it's real estate, whether it's, sorry, I'm being nosy who's here. Hey, if you're here, drop a comment. Let us know you are watching, okay? So we have some people in there, and I see the heart. Nice. But we would love to see who's in the house. Anyway, I wanted just to focus on how we get to build community. I don't care if it's essential oils. I know you see me do webinars on essential oils, webinar on nutrition, what else? Webinar on productivity. It's all for a community. So yeah, I'm all for that. And so Life to the Full podcast. Maybe that was too much of a drink. Just kidding. We've had a huge desire for community. So
Yeah, I think we've had a huge desire for community. Community has been the biggest thing that I feel like I've been missing since I left the ICOC. I was in a seminary program where it was online, so you really didn't get that much community with the people you were taking class with online. Now I'm in another master's program, also online, and it's you get some camaraderie with the people when you're in class, especially if you have a professor that loves to do the breakout rooms. But it's not been the same, and a lot of the things that I've been wanting to talk about. So actually, before I get into that, for I want to say for 3 or 4 years now, I have had these various PowerPoints like all ready to go, where I've basically mapped out an entire year of teaching.
Mhm.
In the fall, I wanted to do like stuff on the Torah or like the first 5 books in the Bible. In the winter, I wanted to do a gospel series. And in the spring, I wanted to do like something like with Paul. This spring, I want to do the book of Acts, because this winter I want to do Luke. And then in the spring, I want to do Acts, because Acts really.
I Am Your Father?
No, that's my other nerd culture that I love, Star Wars. But Luke and Acts are really something that when you pick up either one, you have to kind of pick up the other. They're not really. I firmly believe, though, I think this is where you get a lot of scholarly debate, because historically the books were never put necessarily together. However, they definitely do have one author, and there's a lot of intertextuality. Between those 2 books. So when you read them, you really need to read them in light of the other. And Luke is doing things with the Hebrew scriptures that most Christians don't even notice. And it's one of the biggest sections of the New Testament taken together, Luke's and Acts. Luke is really the most detailed of all of the gospels that we have, or the gospels that we revere, that we honor. And it's been something that's on my heart. And especially with the recent developments of who could have seen it coming, the breakup of the ICC with the RCW. And, now I've been hearing a lot of people in the RCW saying that they want to study out the book of Acts, because they want to be not necessarily a New Testament church anymore, but they want to be the Church of Acts. So I think it's a good time. It's a good time to get into it, break it open, and kind of go into it.
I could care less about this breakup or anything like that. I'm pretty sure people, well, anyway, maybe we're going to be speaking to different crowds in here. But this is what marriage is. I think going live and doing this brainstorming with you guys, we're like opening the door to our brainstorming session. This is what I was like, we were saying, like, we disagree so much. Why not just hit record and talk it out with you guys, So again, I don't know which way we're going to take. I guess that's your summary, right, of what you've been thinking?
Yeah. So like the teaching series has always been something where I've imagined like a community of people gathering around the scriptures, gathering around great books about these scriptures, and kind of just like we're learning. There's a teaching component to it. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to get better at my teaching, my presentation. I am a teacher. No matter how much I try and escape being a teacher, I am, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, a teacher. And it's something that I want to do more of, and I want to gather around a community of people who we're all gonna teach each other. Reading great books, reading authors like N.T. Wright, Christopher Wright, really accessible authors that really crack open the scriptures in an amazing way. And, hopefully actually doing in-person events, like doing things like where we all go away for a weekend, we do some type of retreat, seminar, to the amazing places that kind of get us in the spirit of what we're studying. Like, so especially if we're doing like, the Old Testament, if we're doing like the fall tour series, going someplace like the desert, if we're doing something like the Gospels, like maybe going out to the mountains, because the mountains kind of show up a lot in the Gospels. But yeah, so that's kind of been something that I've been thinking about, that I'm excited about doing. So, I'm looking forward to that. I have the broadest outlines of all this stuff. I still don't even know how I'm going to be doing it. Am I going to be showing up once a week, once a month, every day, twice a day, 3 times a day?
Hold on a second. I think we have a comment about you walking.
No walking. No walking. Dan.
Yay,
Susu.
Daniel's here. He makes me so happy.
Why do I know that name?
Yeah, you forgot his birthday too.
The world, the room just get colder?
No, it didn't. For me, you know what happens? When I hear Daniel's name, I hear this. Yay! That's Daniel right there. Get it, Tito. Yeah, that's what happens when Daniel walks in the room. I definitely miss you, Daniel. Thank you for supporting.
That's Daniel.
Yes, the Daniel.
Daniel from Rhode Island.
From Rhode Island.
No?
Who's that? Hold on. Again.
Come on, Daniel. That is what I'm talking about. Okay,
exactly. I think he's talking about the music. When he was typing, it was because of the music. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is on your comment. This was the music. That's what he's talking about. That was your comment. I know Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Anyway, I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. That's pretty much it. I do have other ideas of things I would love to do. Going to visit like virtually, like different churches and different groups, and like especially because I feel like I have so much of the ICOC still in me. Like I joined the ICOC basically because I really wanted to make a difference. I really wanted to do good in the world, and I feel like that's a lot of reasons why people join that movement, especially if you weren't born into it. That's still in me. That's still in me. The idea of having a community of people that really care about God, really care about each other, and want to do, good things in the world. And, even though I've left, that I don't, in the sense that I don't attend churches anymore. I don't feel like I've ever really left, in the sense that I still care about what's going on. I still feel like I have things to say about it. And I feel like this is such a better platform to do it. And versus like, even just like, like taking people out to dinner and having conversations over dinner that no one else ever gets to hear, like, although I wouldn't necessarily want to give those up. I feel like, there's a time and place for that. But I feel like so much of even like the ICOC, ICC, RCW is just they're in their own echoing chamber. They're not necessarily used to hearing any other people's opinions that really matter on what they're doing and like what they're saying. Unless you're in a certain level of leadership. And even then, as we've seen in the split up of the ICC and the RCW, it's like they can't communicate with each other,
It's true. But what has been the biggest con of leaving a church?
No community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and that's why we're both coming in here. There's like disagreement of how we're both dealing with the reason. That was like the first podcast. That was the first time we started the podcast. It was during pandemic and we were transitioning out because we were learning new things. And yes, even though we were told not to share, it wasn't welcome. We made that decision because we're like, man, we're finding new ways. We're unlearning. Why can't we all unlearn, right? Why can't we unlearn and then learn as a community? And when it was a no, me personally, I just didn't know how to continue. Mm-hmm. But the biggest, you could call it whatever. You can have issues with whatever. I feel Poppy, was that you?
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Hey.
Hey.
It's been really lonely. Like the past 4 years, when I said in the description, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I've never felt so
Alone.
deserted.
Yeah.
I never felt so deserted, like in the middle of a desert where you're like, hello. And I said this joke because our the golf course is right here. And I'm like, babe, it's like I'm in the middle of the golf course going, hello, can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? You hear the echo in silence, right? So it's definitely been, it's like insane. And us going live, like this guy stayed up like 4 hours trying to make this work. We're not even using the camera we intended. We bought a battery,
but special things.
we bought special things for it. I have a morning show and everything works for the morning show, and
It just
this
doesn't work.
has been like insane. So
yeah,
I take that as like, okay, we're gonna recommit, we're gonna relaunch, and this is, I guess, like the thing we get to work it out, because I don't like it when he talks about ICOC or any of the churches. I hate it. I do feel like he is bitter. I do feel like he needs to talk it out with people and not say it here. Like that is exactly how I feel about it. And now it's like, so how do we come to some certain agreement about what we really want? And like what we want is community. And I completely miss the way, or listening to my husband talk about the Bible and how he makes the Bible so alive and so, like, I don't know, every time you preach, I wanted to just run home and open my Bible. Like that is when he's preaching. That's what I want to do.
Were you running home like taking your time? You were like,
it was like speeding through it.
Oh wow, a little cartoon, like
yeah, like the Flintstones. So I mean, yeah, and so like we're brainstorming, we're still trying to figure it out. What's gonna be? I even asked them. I was like, ask Daniel, ask Mark, ask David, ask who's it? Because he had an idea, and I was like, I don't like it. That's a no. We're not putting white superstars in this idea.
Well, this is
unplugging. No.
Even though we're wearing white superstar t-shirts, this is not necessarily.
It's sponsored. When my face is here, that means that it's white superstars.
Oh well, you can come and visit. For the times that you're not here, anyone know how to design another logo so I can get a new t-shirt? Because I feel like it's so important. Like there are so many stories that just need to be told, and there are so many people who need to be heard with these things. And and I think even if from a certain point of view, like if you didn't know who Paul was, and you didn't have this history of finding the words of Paul in this book that's authoritative, I think Paul could have easily been accused of being bitter by people that were his enemies or rivals or peers, and if Paul was in a some type of culture that we're in where everyone is so like hyper aware, oh, is he bitter? Is she bitter? Like, what? Oh, that's just church hurt.
I just triggered you with that word, didn't I?
Well, I think if you read the words of Paul, like Paul is a lot of times like putting his heart out there on the page, and the things he's doing with the scriptures are not easy, although they seem to be the most quotable and the most easy things to get into. You can do a lot of damage with Paul, and you're reading someone's mail. You're reading someone's, emotional rawness at times about just how hurt he is by churches that have basically apparently turned their back on him, like things that he started, that he worked and sweated for, and worked among them like a mother, like a patient father, and just feeling that very similar things that I feel like I've been feeling with, just that abandonment, that dismissal, but
not from everybody.
Not even necessarily from everybody. And
Daniel's right here.
And whether or not, and even whether or not it's true, it's just something that I'm dealing with, Okay. And it's not like it is true. It's not like anymore that I can just pick up the phone and someone's going to necessarily, answer it right away. But whatever. I think it's, because also on the other side of the coin, there are lots of people, I'm part of groups where there are lots of people who are still trying to deal with what do I do on the other side of the ICOC, ICC, and I guess now RCW. And it's like, again, I think a lot of these people, they get into these type of movements because when you look around the world, you do see a lot of religious hypocrisy. You know, it's like, well, where,
as long as there's people, yes.
Yeah, as long as there's people, there's hypocrisy. And I'm like not comfortable just going to a church that just like.
But that's for every human. That's you and I.
What do you mean?
Hypocrisy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like we're doing it on purpose, but there could be like some things that we're saying and then yet we're not doing. Yeah, we can do our very best. But I think as humans, or maybe you're talking about like the really, really strong people living double lives and stuff.
No. I mean, typically talking about like our church, like I understand that all of us are trying our best, and it's like that's something that we would all say, right? But then when you actually go in and you try and deal with like leadership, like that's not what you're getting. You're not getting like, oh, well, we messed up. You're getting like, no. You misunderstood the situation. You were wrong. Let me help you. And even from Christianity as a whole, like I feel like Christians tend to give each other like more grace than they do people that they would say of, oh, these people are of the world. And where they typically do like a lot of times like worse things, in my opinion, than people who don't have any Christ in them. They don't have any church in them. And they're just trying to be the best human being that they can be, you know? And also I really feel like I want to document my journey. You know, I really want to document. I don't know how you feel about documenting your own journey in this, but you know, like I've been trying out different things. Like I've taken different classes. I've read different things. I'm trying to find like where I belong. And I definitely know now, looking back, how many years has it been since we left?
4.
It feels like 4,000. It feels just such empty, like lonely years where it's just me and Patty. We're out there and it's like, hello.
Yeah. Can I reply back to the disagreement, just maybe because we can even get help right here. I don't mind it.
I only want to hear responses if you agree with me.
No. It's not about a disagreement. Now, I do want to create an environment where people could be heard without the venting, because we started that with the podcast because venting doesn't help. It helps temporarily, it helps at the moment, but it doesn't help at all once, because it doesn't deal with the root. It doesn't deal with your subconscious. It doesn't deal with what the thoughts that you go to when you go to bed, right? And so that's why venting for me, even these platforms I never belonged to, or I'm very much opposed to these platforms, because I know that venting, it's not helpful in the long term. Venting, it only helps at the moment. And then some people, when I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I vent, it may feel good, but then if I go vent to one person and then vent to another, the anger comes up again. Like, and so you go vent however long with how many people without dealing with the root of. So part of our podcast was like, we were getting to that section where this is where I wanted to come in, like you do your preaching and then me helping people get to the root of things, right? Through the different, what do you call that? Different, I don't know what the word is, but different methods. It could be breathing. It could be the story work. It's called, what's it called, honey?
I don't know. Methodologies?
No. I forget. But there are ways to deal with trauma that really it's rooted from childhood. Because even though we go through trauma as an adult, most of that trauma gets triggered because it connects to trauma that has happened during childhood. And so we could read as many scriptures as we want. We could do yoga. We could meditate. We could like do a lot and only help temporarily. So that's where I saw and where I would love to see the community for you to teach the Bible, like the very thing that you thought that people were not willing to do, because we only spoke to one couple. I had mentioned before we leave, I needed to talk to another couple, and we never did that. And then we were going to talk to somebody else was in the higher seat. We never did that. So how can we have said we did everything possible for the church to listen when we really only talked to one couple? So we allowed the one couple that told us no for us not to continue. Now, for me personally, at that time, it was like we could even get the other person an email. Like this person was not reachable at all. But there was another couple who could have. Now, none of those couples are part of the ICOC. So now we're like screwed.
They like retired.
And no, I guess both of those couples did retire.
They're not like, they're still part of the ICOC.
So, well, sort of, because that church is a smaller group church than anything else. Wait, hold on. We have a comment. Hold on. Let's go for that comment. True. Good point. Community is important. It's like a family. We are all dysfunctional, but you don't leave the family. You stay and fix it. Okay. It's fair. It is absolutely fair to say that. And I think that's part of the part that hold on. Let me finish my thought. That's the part where we allowed one couple who was in charge of, okay, now I don't know, maybe we're gonna say names, but
do it.
No, but Daniel brought a point. We tried our best to fix Staten Island, to fix that problem in Staten Island. Trust me that we did, and we had plenty of conversations. Now, wait, I told you, Jimmy, we needed to go read above regional and above that in order to then feel comfortable. Because it didn't go well locally, I was like, they're not gonna listen. And now both those couples are retired. You know, so there's a part of me that definitely regrets not pushing that meeting, at least to say, hey, so and so, can we meet up? Like that didn't happen. There was no phone call, there was no text. We stopped at the region instead of taking that way higher. And I think, you know, like in my previous position, I went through my leadership, then I went to the owner of the company. Like that's the highest that I had a conversation, and based on the conversation, I left that company. Hold on, we have let me see. Hey, John Maddow. Hey, Jimmy, Happy New Year. Your old friend from Staten Island.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Who's John?
Someone from elementary, middle school.
Oh,
I believe Our Lady started to see.
Stop it! You have a childhood friend here. That's awesome.
I have lots of friends.
That's awesome. Anyway,
how's it going, John? Say hi to your mom.
But that's what I meant as far as that. Like, there's regret for not making the phone call, because in the back of my head, I'm like, they're not gonna say yes. But man, if I could go back in time, I wish I would have gotten the rejection, or at least a no, so I could say, listen, guys, we tried. We try to go above our region, Staten Island. We try to talk to somebody for all of New York City, and they didn't want to meet with us. So,
may I go?
Yes, please. Hold on with the mic.
First of all, I just want to say I don't believe in fixing people. I don't believe in fixing.
You said fix the problem.
Right. I know, but I'm just saying that it's like I didn't go in. I mean, I do feel like the time I did feel like I knew how to fix certain problems, but I've evolved on that position, and I don't feel like you can necessarily go in and fix church or fix a group of people, or that any of us really know like anything. But I do feel that like communities should, foster community, and they should foster differing points of view, and there should be a space at the table for everybody. And one of the reasons I felt like very clear in leaving the ICOC when I did leave is because I did feel that there was that that level that you needed to be at. You did need to be at a certain like people needed to like see you a certain way, because I would have arguments with people in quote unquote leadership that they would be like trying to like teach me like how wrong I was. And a few weeks later they would go and they would be advocating for the same things. So it would be very frustrating that like, why didn't my opinion matter with the very same thing that you were talking about? But like to Daniel's point is like, I don't even know. I've even thought about like, we're here in Orlando now. I've even toyed with the idea of going to the Orlando ICOC and joining a Bible talk. I mean, I feel like I would be a Bible talk leader's like worst nightmare.
No, but not like that. You see, like, this is why people don't take you seriously, because you're mocking. Do you understand? Like,
no, but I mean, at this point,
that's
like,
that's my not disagreement, but that's like my annoyance.
Even when I first got into the church, it was something like I had studied the Bible as literature, in college and in different settings.
We're fighting.
And like I was very excited about it. And like when people were like, "Hey, do you want to come and study the Bible?" What? That sounds like a great thing to talk about. Let's go for it. And they weren't ready for me.
Wait, what's the no?
Tell us more,
Daniel. Tell us more.
He's just saying no.
No, but I do. Okay. Okay. So I know you want to go to a Bible talk.
Well, no is like Daniel's favorite word, though.
That's true. No. What I meant by what you were saying is that, okay, what if we go halfway? I don't want to go to a Bible talk and you feel like, no, I don't want to go to a Bible talk with you. No. What I do
Why
want, because you just told people that you will school them. That is wrong.
I just get excited when someone's like, "Oh, this parable is, about how we need to do this." Like,
that's not the right way to get into a community when you're like telling them, "I'm sorry, you're that wrong."
Well, that's
okay. So why don't we go in the middle, and for the same regret, because I had this thing for the same regret. Why don't we talk to the leader of all of Orlando and go for coffee and go from there? Go based on, what? We left in Staten Island without really talking, like, and I know Orlando's not, it's very local, but we could start there. Wait, Daniel thinks something.
He said something.
What do you say? You will not be a problem in a Bible talk. Daniel, tell the truth. He will be a problem.
Not that I'd be a problem. It's just that, like, I don't know.
Okay. Oh, tell me more, Daniel. Maybe it's true. Because I thought about having lunch with the regional leaders here in Orlando. I had that last year. But what happened is that I went to the live, like, because they have service online, and it was the same thing of like what was being said that was like killing me. It was like,
weren't you?
It was. I almost wanted to like vomit in a sense.
Weren't you yelling at the TV at one point?
Yeah, but it was because, oh my goodness, and it's not because of the things. It's not the people. It's because there was this certain way of preaching that's very like condescending. That this is why I love the way he preaches, because it's more about learning. But I do get very upset about the condescending of people being dumb. And let me tell you how to do and how to read the Bible. That like drives me. That's what made me want to vomit. Like, oh my goodness, And then they use Bible Project videos and then completely miss the point and talked about how they were discipling people. And that made me want to vomit. And that was like, this is the problem, right? Like we say, yeah, we're going to learn these things, but then you turn off the video and then you say nonsense, and I'm just like, I was like, no, forget having lunch. But now that we're here, and then, we're talking out loud, and that is a regret for not talking to all of New York City leaders. Because we did talk to the New York City leaders, which is Lisa and what's his name? Steve Johnson. And
Steve would like to say I am Lisa Johnson's husband.
We have like such a great conversation.
Yeah, those are good conversations.
And they're not in ICOC. And I was just like, okay. We need to just start having more conversations. So I'm gonna I don't know. What do you think about the challenge, taking them out for lunch?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the beauty of having
I'm gonna get their number right now.
having or developing a platform like this is that, like having all of those dinners, having all of those lunches takes time. And not saying that I don't want to have them.
I'm gonna make it happen. Watch.
not saying that I don't want to have them as well. However, this is a way to kind of like cut out the middleman, like for even in terms of like the way, these type of platforms have opened up the door for people to be like super famous without like movie contracts or record deals. They go directly to the people. And if people like what people are saying, you can deal directly with the people who you want to influence, the people that you want to have, a platform with, or, like a dialogue with, and it's very similar here. It's like, okay, we could have 1 million lunches and like, just, agree to disagree, or like, it's just not going to work.
We can give it a try.
Not saying that I'm not necessarily not going to want to, but I feel like this needs to be the priority, because this is where, because I feel like I've dealt, and one thing I always felt too is like whenever I got up there and they gave me the opportunity to preach, like they couldn't find anyone else, so they were like, all right, you can go in. I used to get a lot more opportunities to do it, like when our old leaders were here.
When doing the team ministry,
yeah, when I was in team ministry with the Beans in Staten Island, I got less so opportunities like after they left. But whenever I got an opportunity, I always felt like, wow, like the people that tended to come up to me and like thank me and be really impacted by my messages were, it always felt like they were the ones who were like sort of like disenfranchised in the church. Like, like they weren't like so bad that somebody was having that talk with them that like you need to leave. But like, they were the marginalized. They were the people who were never going to be asked to lead anything, who were never going to be asked to speak. People who were like, in some ways I feel like, hurting, or just like for the real reason that Christianity should be there, and I always felt like there was something about the way that I tried to just connect the scriptures to the human story that really impacted with those people more. I think people who were, higher up in leadership, or more in the, AKA club, whatever that is. I'm obviously, I know how to teach. I'm a trained teacher. I know how to like put together a good talk. I know how to tell a good story. So they were impressed more by maybe like the contents, or like the structure of the presentation or the talk that I put together. But I really feel like the content was really more effective to people who really needed to hear that. And so I'd rather like, what, I don't want anyone to give me a platform ever again. I want to get out there, and I want to speak directly to people. I want to speak directly to people who are just like me, people who would really wanted to hear what I needed to hear. My own story with this whole thing was, like I actually started reading the Bible from the first page of Genesis all the way to the end. At some point in me doing that, I realized that I was reading the story out of order. So I went back to, the Jewish order of the scriptures, and, those things really, really impacted me. And it really spoke to me. And when I first encountered, the Bible Project's podcast, and then the Bema podcast, when it was just going through all of its different, introductory sessions, not what they're doing now. I haven't really tuned in. I don't really know what they're doing right now. But then when they were going through the first 5 books of Genesis, when they were going through, the entire Bible basically, and they started, and whenever they finished, it kind of like turned on switches into my brain that I was primed for already, because I had been struggling so much in my community. I'd been struggling so much with things I was seeing in scripture and the way they were living out, and all of the different things that I thought about Christianity, and how like we were missing the whole point of what we were supposed to be doing in a way that was different than my Catholic background. But just as tragic in the sense that we were missing so much of what we were really supposed to be about. and that nobody was talking about it. Everyone was just acting like everything was great. And I didn't think everything was great. Listening to those podcasts and, really like turned on, I feel like different parts of my brain. It really lit me up, and it made me realize that, there was so much more, and it gave me words to it, and it gave me references, and it gave me additional resources to go and read. And then, I had my whole seminary journey, and now I have the master's program that I'm in, and it really like is leading me towards something where I feel like the core essence of why I joined the ICOC in the first place is still there. I want to do good things in the world. I want to bring people together to change the world for the better. But it's just so much more informed. It's so much more coming from a place not of where like I am superior to all of you, but it's coming from a place more of like, wow, like we are all in this human story together. Let's get together and let's do something amazing, and even if that amazing thing is just reading the scriptures and responding to the scriptures, like in our lives, like we're challenging ourselves, So
Okay.
yeah.
So you promise not to mock?
No, I don't promise that.
See, that's what I'm saying. When you said it's like so good, I think people will want to listen to that, what you just said, versus you mocking them.
Well, I think any good teacher will tell you that there needs to be a good dose of humor.
Yeah, but trust me, you're not reading your audience, because your audience are not going to see this as humor.
I think they will. I think they will. Yeah.
So, okay, guys, I just made the email. I got in touch with the women's congressional leader of all Orlando.
Congressional?
Honey, you see what I mean? Why?
You mean congregational?
Whatever. Sorry. Okay, I thought you were mocking.
I thought we were going to meet a senator. Or
my bad. That was my mistake. Completely my mistake. So I got her email. I just sent it to her because this was missing in my heart for not doing that back in New York City. So I will follow up with an email. I text somebody who may know her, may not, to set up that time. And if I don't get in touch with them, I will go to a service, even though I don't want to, and I will speak to somebody that can connect me with her. So, but what you just said, okay, listening to you, giving that, not the mic, but like having people who feel that they're not being heard, to connect them to the stories in the Bible. To me, you gave me a little bit chills when you said that, because I agree that we're not to save people. We're not people's saviors, but we could direct them to stories, right? To stories that they could relate to. And
also just giving a platform for people to contribute and talk. I think one of the biggest tragedies of the ICOC is that we teach people to take the Bible seriously. And then when people start taking the Bible seriously and then they disagree with the people who are in leadership, they are shut down, and it's a huge tragedy. And I feel like there's so many more people that are no longer a part of the ICOC, ICC, and RCW than there are inside. And these are people that have deep convictions. They have deep devotion to the scriptures and to spirituality in general. And they've just been so disenfranchised. And it's just like, there was only one pathway to get re-enfranchised, and a lot of times that was compromising people's core values and identities.
Well, do you know these people? Because I would love to then.
Yes, I know these people.
Like, do I know them?
I don't think you know them.
Yeah, I don't think I know anybody who has.
Yeah, you know probably a few of them.
Well, I do know that someone did try to talk to his leadership and also got rejected. So maybe that's the only one I'm thinking. But I don't think this person either went to because if you're saying people only listen to people in leadership, then that's why I felt like then let's go up the ladder and speak to those leaders. Even though we're not, let's at least give that try. But I don't know of anybody else besides the other person.
Even what happened to us in the ICOC.
Okay.
In 2003 with the infamous letter. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That letter was written by somebody who was in ministry. So when people got that letter, and they weren't even supposed to get that letter because it was only supposed to go to leaders, people were like, OMG, this is from a leader. This is authoritative. This is giving me like, permission to act out in all the ways that I felt like I needed to act out for the longest time. But there were other letters written by people who weren't in leadership. There were other people who were like, this stuff isn't right.
Yeah. I'm just saying we just gotta give it a try. Like, I hope to have, if you don't want to come to lunch, that's fine. I'll have lunch with her.
I'm open to it. I'm just saying, for me, the priority used to be meeting table to table to try and deal with these things.
Honey, we only had one meeting with one couple. What are you talking about?
My whole Christian journey, even before we were married, I was committed to that. Meeting with people, table to table. We're going to squash out our differences.
But if you're saying that you need to talk to the leaders, you only had one conversation with one couple.
It wasn't one conversation.
One. No, plenty of conversations, but only one.
No, it wasn't.
No, okay. Plenty of conversations
with you.
One couple. Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. You have backup baggage.
Oh, yeah.
That's my point. That's why I do say you are bitter. You're bringing up stuff that's from before.
I'm going to double down. I'm going to say.
Hold on. We have a question. Can you mention some of the things you're talking about in specifically? That's great. I agree with Patty. I like that. Yeah. Okay. But go ahead. I guess be specific. What are you talking
about? Specifically.
Yes.
How do I be specific without mentioning names?
Well, no, I don't know. Daniel, are you talking about like the people we try to talk to? Because it's only been one couple a lot of times. Okay, like through conversations. But again, in my opinion, I believe the conversations were good until one point, which I'm not going to mention, when things went south. But we were making headway. I mean, the reason why we were in the children's ministry, the conversations were going so good. We led the children's ministry. We did this whole thing, and Daniel, you know about it. We were committed for 1 year. We did 1 year because of these conversations. Like, we had very good conversations until something that I will not name it over here unless that's what you want as far as being specific. So hold on a second. No names, the issues.
It's nice, cheap.
So I don't know. if that works for you, Daniel. I guess on the example, we've had many meetings. Again, one couple for him. Before this couple, I guess he's had many other conversations with couples. But I don't think that should be in our case because we're married now. And we're talking about today's situation. So I don't think we should bring baggage from other times. Because, okay, from the Queen's ministry, another couple, we've had this conversation we've had with people with other ministries.
Yeah.
And they super open. I mean, we were interviewing to be part of the ministry. So I don't know, maybe that's why we had the conversation, but I do feel like this couple loves us. They listen. So
and not with that couple, but when I was thinking about being part of the ministry, like I was basically offered a job in another state.
Correct.
And the only issue was that me and this person disagreed on the role of women. Like, he was very much like, women.
You're talking about down south.
No, I'm talking about over on the West Coast.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Talk about that. That's a good one.
And that was like me and this person, we had great chemistry. I really liked him. He was, doing great and amazing things in the world.
Yes,
and it was basically like, I got the phone call and he was like, we're working really hard to put the money together. You can come now and we can give you a little bit of money, or you can come in like a few years and we'll have the money ready for you. What do you want to do? And I was like, I would love to come. I love that spot in the world. I've always seen myself in that spot of the world. We just need to talk about one thing. And then when we talked about that thing, because he had a huge disagreement with
another leader who got this fellowship.
Another leader who got this fellowship about women's roles.
Okay.
And it was like, like, wow, thank you so much for being open about that. It's definitely going to be a hard no, and that was something where, like that was an issue. Another issue, more specifically to Staten Island, would be questioning the money. So,
you brought it up, even though I said we shouldn't talk about
yeah. So in Staten Island specifically, it was like, do not question the money. So do not question how the church spends the money. Do not bring up the idea of maybe we need to, pull back some of our money and take care of needs in Staten Island. Do not talk about the money. When
I think they were more specific about something else, though.
What do you mean?
It was your contribution. It wasn't about money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was. I refused to give unless I knew where the money was going.
That's being specific.
And I think at one point I was like, I would rather take all.
Do you see? That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Because you just made it personal, so now people understand.
Yeah. I was bringing up in talks, I would rather take all my money that I would give to the church, put it in a bank, and hire one of these poor campus kids to be an intern. So, instead of them figuring out how they're going to like pay bills. Because none of the kids that we had in campus at the time came from situations where their families could support them. When I was in campus and I basically had a full-time job as the volunteer campus leader, my parents supported me. I didn't have to worry about having a job or how I was going to pay for school. That was all taken care of.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish
that was not the situation. And so even bring that up, like basically, like we had gone through something personal. Can I say it?
Sure, I guess.
We had gone through a miscarriage.
Oh, yes.
So like we needed a few weeks just to be together. But in that time, we went from leading the youth and family ministry. So while we were taking it like a few minutes to take a breath, because we had a tragedy, conversations already had because of my view of contribution, that I had been removed from leading the youth and family ministry in Staten Island. And I hadn't even, that hadn't even been a conversation that was with me. It was just like, I'm done. And so now this was after a year of giving of my time, my intelligence, my skills, and my resources to fix a children's ministry that, in my opinion, was going to get someone really, really hurt and sued. And, really giving like my gifts in the nonprofit world of planning and training and, getting everyone together in leadership to plan, like, I think at that point, 2 church retreats where we planned the entire year, like that opinion. And I had brought that up so we could work together as a family to just immediately, like, you're done. I still love you, Jimmy. I still want to help you, but I can't have you leading for me. But those concerns are real. And my opinion and in my understanding, rather, Staten Island still doesn't have a full-time ministry couple. And it's been years at this point. And I don't understand why there's no money. And other ministries have more staff than I believe they need, And so like, and for that, you can hear my voice. Yeah. I'm very upset about this. And I think I should be upset about it. And I think any caring, thinking person, if you're not upset about this and you're not advocating for your people, like, I don't understand what you're doing. Because for me, that's what leadership is. It's like, I have a group of people I'm responsible for and I'm advocating for what's best for them,
Gotcha. I didn't even make that connection. Like, I didn't know that was the timing of it. I guess in my head, I said, I'm gonna do this for a year, just like the podcast. And then like in my head, I block it off. It's my year service, it's my year journey. And then I didn't make that connection. I didn't know that was that timing of it. So, I didn't know you were hurt about that, honey. I have no idea.
To me, it's just like the anger. Cause I understand if decisions need to be made and like, okay, we need to part, or we need to agree to disagree.
Okay.
But even just for a decision to come down like that, from like, you weren't even like paying me, like, like I transformed something that was broken for you. You didn't have to worry about that when I was in charge of it. And just to like, like almost like take me out like a sniper, like done. Like that's, like, wow, I just got fired from a job that I never had officially. Like,
I mean, I know we had a conversation. We were at that restaurant. I didn't know you felt like someone just shot you. I had no idea. Honestly, I'm actually speechless because I didn't even see that connection because I guess I was already in hurt that nothing else could hurt me even more. Like
the funny thing too is because like I had never had that conversation about the money because I knew where that would go, and your thinking was that I didn't have an abundance mindset about money. I had a scarcity mindset. Yeah. So you were actually, because I remember you were the one who brought this up. Like, we need to talk about this, and you were bringing it up almost so like they could help me with an abundance mindset, and it was just like done.
But you never brought it up because I remember in that conversation we dealt with something you were bitter about me from like 6 years ago.
No, that was in our house. This was at the restaurant.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because I had no idea. Why didn't you bring that up then?
I just did.
To them.
I did bring that up to them.
Honey, I'm speechless. I had no idea that this happened after the miscarriage. Why didn't you tell them that?
We did bring that. We had a whole talk with them about this.
No, I don't remember.
And it was kind of just like, like from their point of view, like they felt so bad. Like they felt like they were protecting us,
Okay.
And then
maybe I blocked it out because I was in pain. So
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
And it was just something that it was kind of just like, we still want to help Jimmy. We're going to help Jimmy.
Oh.
And it was just like,
that I remember.
And it was just like, whoa. You're going to help me? Like, no, we need to deal with, like, I was always told back in early 2000s when I first became a Christian or a member of this church, that they were so transparent with finances that if anybody, they were audited every single year, and that any one of us could go to the church office and say, I want to see the books. And they would open up the books and they would show us anything. And that's apparently no longer the case. Like, like they don't want you to see the books. They don't want you to know how much people are getting paid. And mind you, I'm of the school of thought that, I want the best of my leaders. So I feel like you need to be making, like, if you're in a ministry role, you should be making a really good salary, because I want people who could go off and lead companies, and I want to be able to make sure that we're attracting the best, like, yeah. I feel like, so if you're embarrassed about what you're paying your ministers, like, I'm fine if you paying ministers like good money.
Well, these are good questions to us here because we're here in Orlando.
Yeah.
The couples there in New York. I think we should circle back. I definitely will circle back with the couple. I still keep in touch with them, obviously, from Staten Island, who are not in Staten Island, but yeah, maybe we just need to regroup again. That is a sore. That's an open wound. Wow. You just shared like such a big wound.
But could you imagine, like, if we had the transparency? It is not. It's led by the Holy Spirit. I mean, yeah, amen, Daniel. But there was a book that was written a long time ago. It's called The Book of Three Kings. I don't know if you've ever read it. It's basically about, being a good Christian or disciple, whatever you want to call it, whether you have a good king, an okay king, or a terrible king. And, I disagree with that. I don't think the church is transparent with money at all. I don't think the church is clear on where all this money goes. I think if the church actually had its people's best interest in heart, they would have hired someone for Staten Island a long time ago. Even someone like yourself, here's a little bit of money, go ahead, lead the church. The church needs some leadership, but the church doesn't see you like that. The church doesn't see you at that level of being able to lead a church.
You mean certain people?
Yeah.
We can't use the church as a title. You have to you know what I mean? Whoever's in leadership,
and
perhaps
it's not okay. It doesn't matter if you have 50 people, 20 people, or like.
Wait, what's the no thank you for?
He doesn't want to be a minister.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
We've been through this before.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, but okay, I think to this point right here, I feel it will be a lot more people are gonna be willing to listen to you when you go with a lighter heart because you're coming in fully charged of wounds, and that could be your like the stumbling block between people.
But could you imagine like people like pulling aside Ezekiel and being like, dude,
I don't want to be in the mystery. Yeah, I gotcha.
You know, someone like Ezekiel being like, dude, you're like really like upset about this whole exile thing. You need to chill out. People will like listen to you so much more. Like, I get it. It's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But like all the prophets were bitter. The Bible is written from a bitter point of view. It's written from a point of view of a minority of people. The Bible that we have, the Israel that we see in the Bible is not the Israel that was actually on the ground. That is the point of view from a minority of people who were pushed to the edges, who had a big central belief in Yahweh and temple worship, and that they needed to be a blessing to the nations. That was not the reality on the ground. Like, you know,
but wasn't also a story about oppression, and even through oppression, you still serve God?
No, because the Bible itself is very critical of the leadership. They're very critical of the priests. They're very critical of the monarchy. There is the people who held the words that we now hold sacred were hurt, bitter people that had that had a dream of Israel that they knew that could happen if people could just get their act together. And year after year, a year of bitter disappointment. Like those are the people that held the words, that took the words, redacted the words, and gave us the scriptures that we have today.
No, cool. I agree. And I do agree with tons of like I do believe there's a lot of the power or the roles and all that. But I'm just saying, can we try? Can we go heal? I believe that we can, because that's exactly what I was saying at the beginning. We leave, but then we don't heal the wounds, and then they just show up somewhere else.
Yeah, which is why I'm thinking about going back.
Okay, I think what mostly we could go back through like conversations, methods about the wound and the hurt. Wait, hold on. Daniel has something else. That is why Jesus was so harsh with the relationships. Yeah. So, sorry, can I just finish the thought?
Sure.
So, I agree that there is so much opposition, pull, negative, like I don't even think this is people. Like, it's just so bad out there, you know? But I do believe that people will be more open when we come with a lighter conversation than a charged conversation. And I do believe, now that you mentioned that about the couple in Staten Island, I really do think we just got to go close that loop, talk about that hurt, even though I mean, I don't know. You said that an apology works for you. For me, it doesn't. Like, honestly, maybe just some people who's really close to me, like I want him to apologize to me, you know, but not like stranger danger.
Yeah.
But anyway, hold on. He has one more. Hurt people, healing is more. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh man, that is it. Yes.
And I still feel like we need to have Daniel on at some point, because, you know,
Daniel, that's huge. Just you just summed it up. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like all of those lunches that we've had, I wish that they were public. I wish that they were in forums like this, because I feel like it's really important for people to hear these type of dialogues happening. Like, you know,
I just learned a lot from your hurt in this conversation. Like, we're going into the new year, me like, what? I had no idea. You
know, and it's like, you know, what Daniel said, that is why Jesus was so harsh with the religious groups. I think that's true. And I think that that's necessary. Like, you know, like speaking truth to power is not going to make power feel great. is not going to make leadership feel like,
But I'm not talking about sugarcoating things. I'm
Yeah.
like, because the missing part of that conversation is you have been vulnerable about your hurt. Because it's one thing to say it hurts versus I'm deeply hurt
Yeah.
by that action.
But I also think too, we take one little piece of Paul. Do not let a bitter root grow up to defile many, right? And like we miss the huge like scriptural context that word comes out of, those words come out of, and we make it like, okay, if this person is bitter, they need to be like some type of like Jedi samurai with no feelings before I listen to anything they say. And no, that is garbage.
Wait. What's garbage?
Feeling that a person needs to like deal with their bitterness before they have like a role to play, or before you can listen to what they're saying.
No, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying is that I believe it would have been helpful with this couple in Staten Island for you to say, I'm hurt versus that's hurtful. Do you see the difference? That's hurtful that you did this in such a really painful time versus you really hurt me. I felt everything you just said right now publicly. You just told everybody, whoever's watching, that you felt like used and all those things. That's what I meant. Like, it's like having that opportunity to say, when you said that, it hurt me deeply. That's what I meant by that. That's what I meant by that. No, feelings have no value. It will help you grow more. Feelings have to be validated. It will help you grow more.
Validating feelings, I guess.
Yeah. At the moment for me, but not long term. I would say that feelings are personal, because then we go and blame other people. Like, I'm not, like, I have zero bitterness towards the couple that we were talking about, like none whatsoever. And now, like, having heard him, like how raw that wound is, it doesn't change my perspective whatsoever. I still love this couple. I still keep in touch with them. But anyway, that's what I meant by that. Hold on, we have another comment. I promise they do not know you're hurt. No, I agree with you, Daniel.
I promise you that they do.
No, babe, because I just said it was hurtful versus you hurt me. It's completely day and night. Nobody listens to it's hurtful, but they will listen to you just hurt them. Well, they just hurt you.
Yeah, no, I don't think they can listen. I don't think people can hear it because I think people are, in a sense, victims of like powers that they've allowed themselves to be enslaved to.
When we're talking about the couple that we're talking about, I honestly do not believe that that's true.
Okay.
So I believe we need to give them a chance and have we just visit this conversation for you to say that. I
think also if you want to look, then your wife is shocked. Think about that.
Yeah.
You think about it, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. I am like, my eyes just exploded.
Well, think about the disagreement, Daniel, between John the Baptist and Jesus, right? John the Baptist, when he sees the Pharisees coming, he's like, look at you, brood of vipers. Who told you to flee from the coming wrath, right? And Jesus,
I'll pick
come on, Daniel.
I'll pick you up from the airport, bro. Let's go.
And then Jesus, he has Pharisees and Sadducees that are his disciples, right? People in the religious leadership that he's reaching into. And one of the things I'm so excited about, if this actually works out, this whole Luke Acts thing, is that Acts clearly has a redemption arc for the Pharisees that most of us miss because we divorce it from its Lucan context. We kind of think of it as church history, but there's a clear trajectory that after the resurrection, on the other side of Jesus, there is a redemption arc for a lot of the Pharisees. In my opinion, Jesus himself was actually a Pharisee. They did believe in the resurrection. They did believe in, death from life. They believed in a lot of things that would become mainstream Christianity. So I just saw the comment. Don't let me come there. Jimmy said, "Come on, Daniel, come on down."
Yeah, we talked about that.
So like, I do think that there is something about people being in leadership that it makes them feel that they need to help the people who are under them. The people under them can't help them.
I agree with you, but not this couple.
I do not agree.
I experienced it. I was there. I walked with them. Not this couple.
So then
other couples, absolutely. I could like name them if I can.
Have them on the podcast.
No, can we just have a conversation?
No. I feel like these conversations need to be happen. They need to happen in front of everybody.
Okay, so Lisa and Steve Johnson have gone through a journey of lots of humility for them to have done that with us, because they went through the pit, right? But if somebody is not seeing that, or even worse, if someone is defensive of the church, they will never come to this podcast like that. Never.
Well, I think it's an open invitation to come. I will definitely treat everyone who comes here like a human being. That is my pledge. Even if I disagree with you. I don't feel like I've ever like belittled anybody in a conversation.
Them not being here and you saying what you just said, it's not right.
Well, here we are.
So we're having a conversation. I guess I'm going to make that happen.
But somebody, let's call him Daniel, asked for a specific example. And I just gave you a specific example. Like, so it's like a snake eating its own tail. Like, what do you want from me? Like, you want a specific example. I can't pull these people out of my pocket to have the specific example in front of them. Okay. This is a specific example.
Let's do a recap. I agree with everything you just said, with the exception of that I am truly shocked that I did not know that hurt was included in your decision when we had the conversation with the couple, right? So for me, number one, there was guilt for not have gone above this couple to really have more conversations around our concerns, right? So in order to do kind of like not make up or heal through that, I just got in touch with the leaders here so we could start another conversation, right? Like, give that chance. I already did. The lunch is happening, people. And then what you just said is true. It's just the only thing is that this cup, if it's true about a lot of certain people that we know who are in leadership in other ministries that I absolutely detest. Like, I believe 100% narcissists.
You detest them?
Detest. Like narcissists, but not the couple that we just talked about. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So that is where I would love to like recap and close out. Hold on. Daniel just said something else. Listen to
like here's the thing. I was never in a position of like paid leadership. Like, I was only ever a volunteer leader. Yeah. From my own role in trying to control people and twisting the scriptures, I feel like I owe the rest of my life to trying making that better. I feel like there's in one sense
you did not. Your mission was to impact the world. You did not do that intentionally.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter intentional, not intentional. You did damage. Okay. You need to make reparations. Okay. Like there's if you look in Leviticus, which is basically the answer to what do you do when God shows up? It's all about like saying you're sorry and atoning for that sorry, making reparations, somehow trying to make it right, offering some type of sacrifice. As in a position that I'm in, a very humble position, right? I only ever had like maybe a Bible talk, maybe a few things I led, like volunteer. I feel like it's my mission. Like, I don't feel like I get to walk away. I don't feel like I get to like not care about those people, like, and not still try and, because, like I could choose to go off and do other things, right? I can get my PhD in something else. But no, I'm here because I still believe that being in a partnership with God, that you can still make the world a better place. I still believe that. I have to believe that. And I believe that people coming to in community, being co-creators with God, can do that. We can do great and amazing things. We can create so much love. But when I look out into the world and I see the state of Christianity, especially the state of Christianity that I hold the closest to my heart, which is what's left of the ICOC, ICC, and now the RCW, it breaks my heart, and it makes me want to help. It makes me want to listen. It makes me want to hear people's stories, and it makes me want to teach. This is some stuff that's actually in the Bible, in the Bible's own context. You can see it literally in its literary structure. These are the things that the Bible is trying to communicate to humanity. Let's try and do that. And guess what?
We've been on the podcast for an hour and a half. We're gonna be the Joe Rogan experience here.
And we just had fireworks go off. Sorry, that's why I got distracted over the golf course. So that's my thing. And I wish that more people that actually had a leadership role and had more influence were more like that. We're more like, you know what? I've done damage, whether intentional or not. I'm going to spend whatever I have left trying to undo some of that, because that's what I think Jesus wants.
Yeah, we'll give that opportunity. We'll set up that meeting. Again, I'm so willing to close the loop personally. If you want to invite them to a podcast to have a conversation or what maybe they've where they're at now in their journey, I'm fine with that. But I think we should definitely reach out, only because I was in that conversation. I had no idea you're hurt based on that, on the timing of all of it.
Sorry, I just rolled my eyes on camera.
Yeah, no, it's okay. And I hope to keep you guys in touch or updated with the meeting with the what do you call the congressional? Did I say it right?
Congregational.
Yeah,
congressional. I was like, we're gonna meet a senator? What the heck?
With our lunch with them. And I would love to keep having them, and I think it's based on those conversations that we can open up more of the floor of healing. But I think Daniel, let me, where is that comment? I think he nailed it with this one, because we do want a open forum to have people we said brainstorm with us, and that's what Daniel's doing with this. But I think, let's maybe hold to this one. Hurt people, healing is important. Heal people, heal others. So that's our journey. Wow. Yeah. That's even better. For a road trip.
Having them on the podcast.
I think it's about 10 hours. That's pretty good.
Having this conversation where everybody can hear. That's what I'm about.
We could, if they accept, but we'll definitely have the conversation to close the loop with that. Guys, Daniel, thank you for joining, and the rest of the people here, thank you for the hearts and the likes. We really appreciate you, Daniel, saying in person.
Why are we so afraid to have actual conversations? Like,
why are you afraid to have an in-person conversation?
Because I've had too many.
Not a vulnerable conversation.
Of course I've had.
Honey, I just told you it's hurtful versus I'm hurt is a complete. Guys, I'm going to have Jimmy reread this book about vulnerability. Here, babe. Vulnerability is about going first on what you're feeling, whether that is wrong or right. We'll do both, guys. We'll do both. I think this is what I wanted under this podcast conversation. So, babe, you want to wrap it up? What's your last thoughts?
My last thought is I still don't know exactly how it's going to go, what I'm committing myself to here. We do need to figure out, making a living out here in Orlando. So different things on that, just different ideas.
You're a real estate agent.
Yeah, I am a real estate agent. If you would like to buy or sell a home here in the Orlando area, or if you're looking to buy or sell a home anywhere, I really have a great network now that I'm still part of KW. So I can help you out with all that. But really, this is where my heart is. This is where my passion is. It's always been here, telling stories that bring people together, around this thing that we call the human condition. And how are we going to make the most of our time here? Because all of us are going to die. No one is going to be here forever. And in the time that we have left, how can we make this world a better place? It is not by ignoring things. It is not by just telling people you're bitter, so shut up. It's about having real conversations.
Yes.
Why are we blowing the mic away from me?
Well, you just told somebody to shut up.
Who?
That person's not here.
Did I?
Yeah, you just said if somebody calls you bitter, shut up. And that person's not here. That's not fair. That's why I took the mic away from you.
But you don't think it's happening other places too?
No, I know exactly what you were talking about. So
Okay.
don't even play. Don't even play.
You don't even play.
Okay, so guys, thank you again for showing up. Hold on, we have one more from Daniel. What was that? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So yes, we're gonna have it necessary. I hope so. I hope that they say yes. I hope that when we knock on the door, I know it's gonna happen. We're gonna come in. We can have a conversation. I've had dreams about having like a garden conversation. Is so odd. I was very upset when this hurricane came through because I was hoping for us to have a garden conversation, but that was just between me and her. But now this has brought up all the stuff that just got out of here. I think it's going to be a good conversation, a good talk. Maybe we could go on a hike. I think that's going to be fun. Anyway, guys, we'll keep you posted. Again, thank you, Daniel, for everything. Always showing up to our other stuff. I love you. Jimmy must go there. Okay. Sounds good. We'll start driving. I got it. Yes. He loves you. You're all worked up.
I'm not worked up. You're worked up.
He's so worked up. All right. Thank you. And we will end the stream. Babe, anything else you want to say? So you're not so worked up. Tripping some music.
Yeah. Let's send us out some music.
What do we do your 80s music? This is Jimmy's entrance.
Do I even like this?
I had Jimmy's 80s entrance. Here we go.
Let's dancing stuff.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We are out of here. Daniel, thank you. Oh, hold on, we have another comment.